Here's this one by Miss Eve Barlow. This is again, I see this as more desperation, because they are looking for literally everything that they can to try to talk about how this trial ended up, being a miscarriage of justice, of course. So we've got a tweet by Eve Barlow where she retweets this other one about Judy, the court reporter. Judy, the court reporter, man, I feel so bad for her, because you know what? As to begin with, the job of a court reporter or a stenographer is to sit as she did here, like this, right by the witness. The witness is, up there in that little corner up there. The entire time, the entire 6 weeks, she is sitting there from the beginning to the end, and during all of the arguments by the parties, during all the sidebars and everything. We got a break during those objections, right? Like we could kind of talk about some stuff. We could explain a few things to the viewers, but she had to sit there and continue paying attention and basically be like, she had to be the courtroom. Her brain, she had to like turn off her entire brain, be the courtroom, and just type the sounds that she is hearing. It's not even, if you see a court reporter's like keyboard, it's not even a normal keyboard, right? Because it's some kind of sorcery. I don't exactly understand it, but it's like some kind of like phonetic sounds that they just kind of type up as they hear it. And every single time that I have talked to a court reporter about their job, they're like, honestly, I don't even know what's going on during the hearings that I'm working in, or the deposition that I'm taking down, or the trial or whatever, because I don't independently hear anything, because I'm so focused on just getting the sounds onto paper. So here they are criticizing Judy, the court reporter, who has been sitting there in one of the most important jobs, but also one of the most like unglorified jobs in the courtroom, and trying to denigrate her, to try to say like, oh, like we can't even trust this record that has been taken, because she probably had all this bias that she has decided that she's gonna try to lie about this transcript as she's typing it up somehow, like in the moment. I don't know how you could possibly do, like, she would have to be some super genius evil person to do that, because that takes a lot of brain power to try to do, especially in the moment. And so this person says,
capacity, that's straight up defamation itself.
It is.
That's true too.
Yeah.
And also being simultaneously recorded.
So if you have some weird record, you can just compare it to the video.
Except for the sidebars, when they approach the bench. Yeah, the sidebars and whatnot.
Oh yeah, that's where she really let loose her master plan, or the sidebars.
Of course.
Meanwhile, when you have a sidebar, there are people there. If you just start transcribing wacky stuff, people are gonna say, "I didn't say that. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and Alita, I think you had it very right with the unglamorous part of it. I'm the court reporter that we had. I mean, for the most part, it's the court staff, things like that, like being appreciated. I mean, this is nothing specifically to do with Johnny Depp, I don't think. It's, somebody was like actually appreciated all the work that I did. I'm gonna, be happy about that. If Elaine had treated her well, things like that, I'm sure we would have similar photos of, them with her.
If Amber had gone up, exactly. If Amber Heard had gone up to her on a daily basis and shook her hand and said, "Thank you so much for all of your work in this case," that would have been fine. It would.
Or if she'd done that with the security guards, or literally anyone, that'd been good.
I mean, it wouldn't have been like, oh my God, she's trying to influence the process. No, that's not how this works.
Well, so, I was part of a very big, long trial with lots of security, and I feel like I'm still thanking those people. I still see them, and I'm like, and I think, especially with all the stuff that was going on with people being denied from the courtroom and things like that later on in the case, is like, I know from firsthand how many things are going on and how much actual additional stuff they have to be concerned about. And these people do really go above and beyond to take their job seriously in a situation like this. I mean, you have to appreciate those people if you really want to be a decent person.
Yeah, exactly. So let me read these tweets here, in case, because I'm going to be putting this on the podcast version too. So if anybody wants to, is listening but can't see it. So the original tweet says, imagine going to trial talking about the most shameful events of your life, and you see people in the courtroom who are supposed to be impartial, smiling and giggling with your abuser. It's shocking. And then it shows some photos of Johnny Depp, taking her hand or shaking her hand in a very chivalrous kind of way. And she's smiling big, and she, looks like she really appreciates it, right?
Smiling.
The horror,
the smiles.
So
I'm
then
smiling.
So then Eve Barlow retweets it and says, the court reporter, she's just done a TV interview. Again, the horror, gushing about getting to meet him outside of the courthouse during the trial. Also, she got to meet him outside of the courthouse because she had, what is this? Okay, so what happened here? She had left her bags inside the courtroom, and she's not courtroom staff, by the way. She is. Court reporters are independently hired, and they're hired by both parties. They typically will agree on the court reporter. So she had left her bags in there and got locked in. And so I guess there were some people from Johnny Depp's team that picked them up and had them for her. So she went to go and pick them up, and it was like an after party after, I think, closing arguments happened. Yep. And so she went, she picked up her stuff. She said hello. Johnny Depp gave her a big hug. There's nothing wrong with that. The jury didn't see anything because the jury wasn't there at the party. If the jury was at the party, that would be a problem.
The jury doesn't really exist at that point because the case is over.
But if the jurors saw that, that would be a problem because the jurors were at the party. That would be the problem, not Judy being at the party. That's not a problem.
I also bet Johnny Depp hugged everybody that was at the party.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So this is just, it's such a, so to me, I retweeted this and I said, this speaks to Eve Barlow's lack of understanding and just pure desperation to try to point to literally anything that she can to say that this was some kind of miscarriage of justice. So when you start pointing at the poor court reporter, who has done literally nothing wrong, and she works in a job that is largely thankless. By the way, guys, if anybody is listening, if you do ever happen to come across a court reporter during their work, if you are involved in a case in any way, whether you're a witness, a party, or anyone, do please thank the court reporter because, like I said, their job is incredibly important. It's so crucial, and yet it's often very thankless and it's unglamorous. And they deserve to be thanked for their work too. So, the fact that this is become like this issue that some people are trying to point to is just, to me, ridiculous. So any other thoughts on this before we move on to the next thing to talk about?
Well, I can confirm in my practice, in a routine case that's worth, say, $10,000 that nobody's watching or cares about, you see this sort of civility all the time. This is very routine, that you're nice to the clerk or the court reporter or the bailiff or anybody like that. If the person sort of has that personality, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's no conspiracy here.
Exactly.
No, this is exactly. Be nice to all professionals you work with. You never know.
Yep.
So true. Like so true. Let me see here.
We could just be like kind and polite to people in general. That'd be cool.
Good. It could.
Politeness is usually a good thing. It's usually a good thing.
I'm just saying, for those that need more utilitarian motivations, like, you never know when that's going to be useful to you. So just be nice in general.
Same thing happens with wait staff, with admin staff, anywhere you go, doctor's office, a law firm, the restaurant, the hotel, anywhere you go, just be nice.
At the end of a case, I don't care how mundane it is. At the end of every case I've ever tried, the judge will say nice things to both attorneys. They'll say, you guys both did a really nice job advocating for your clients, whether it's true or not. It's just like a right that occurs every time. There's nothing wrong with that either. It's just people being civilized.
Yeah. And Joy Daily Gaming says, didn't Eve get kicked out of court? Yes, she did. And I'm wondering, the one other thought that I'm having before we turn to the next subject is that I don't know, maybe she's mad that Judy wrote the transcript for the hearing where they talked about how Elaine said she's not a journalist and she's not Amber Heard's girlfriend or whatever. Maybe she's mad because she can't take it out on Elaine, but so she'd rather take it out on Judy, who just wrote the words that were spoken in the room. I don't know.
It seems wild. It seems wild.
It is.
I do have to go, but before I go, I'll tell you what I tell everybody, all of my clients, because the only thing we can really control is how we treat ourselves and other people.
Exactly.
So, you know, if you're going to control one thing, you should treat the court reporter well.